Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch another beautiful day in the Ozarks. At least that's what's expected. I know I say that a lot, but I don't know. I think that any kind of weather can be beautiful. But, and it's supposed to be decently warm, 50 or so, mid 50s, but that's gonna change because come Saturday night and Sunday night, there are temperatures expected. The wind chills overnight on those nights are expected to be like -10, maybe -15 for overnight temperatures. Potential. I mean, that's wind chills. It's going to get cold. All right, daytime high of like 20. So it's coming real soon. So if you live here in the Ozarks, better be ready for this weekend because it's definitely going to be a change. A lot of earthquakes and stuff happening. There's been a lot of solar activity too. There's been several big solar flares in the last week or two, but a lot of earthquakes. Was another big one off the coast of Japan, and a tsunami warning. This has been a few times here recently, so that's a very big chance of hitting us too. So I know a lot of people truly believe that the sun and all that stuff is gonna get us a big hit again one of these days, and knock us back to the Middle Ages. I'd say is what it would be like. I've heard people say it'll knock us back to the 1800s. No, the 1800s had some industry and steam-powered technology and stuff that they could do things. If we lost technology today, no one knows how to do that. It would be like us living in the Middle Ages, where there was before the Industrial Revolution. So it's just something to be thinking about. The United States Treasury has bought back another $12.5 billion of its own debt. This is because no one is buying U.S. Treasury debt anymore. They're not doing it. My camera holder thingy is kind of starting to break, so it's sliding down. All right, I got to get that fixed, but I've been busy and I haven't been able to get it done. So I apologize for the lack of professional videography here, but it's what you get. Anyway, so the Treasury's been buying back debt. This week it was $12.5 billion. And that's ties for the record of the most that it's ever purchased, which was last week that it bought $12.5 billion. And it's been buying massive amounts of its own debt because, again, no one else wants it. That should be an eye-opening thing for a lot of people. That means that the world is not interested in U.S. currency and U.S. stability. So the government's having to buy its own debt. That's crazy. How that works. So just thought I'd throw that out there at you. The president stated again yesterday, once again, this is several times now that he has stated this, that it will be soon that the United States starts attacking Venezuela on land. Soon. It's also been announced that there will be more Venezuelan oil tankers that will be seized. This is much more aggressive than the taking out of the drug boats. It's interesting. If we can seize oil tankers, why can't we do that with drug boats? And I get it. I know someone's going to say, well, they're a lot faster. Yes, of course they're faster. But if we don't have boats and helicopters that's faster than their drug boats, then that's a big problem. I mean, we've seized them before. So, but that's happening, and that's a big deal because, that's the lifeblood of that nation, their oil, and they have a lot of it. And the United States wants it. So that's everybody's anticipating it happening soon. We've been hearing that it's going to happen soon, but this has been weeks now. So there was I can't remember which state. Someone might pop in the comments and remind me. don't think it was New Hampshire, but it may have been. I think it was out east. One of the state National Guard, Air National Guard units was activated, an F-35 squadron, and sent down to the Caribbean. So things are escalating, right? We're getting everything in position, and now it's just the question of when it's going to happen. Over in Europe, it's kind of the same thing. It's being reported that the United Kingdom is rapidly preparing itself for war. They're preparing for another global war in Europe, and pushing forward. The European Union is talking more about the releasing. They say they're working on it. The way the news is reporting it, I can't guarantee the accuracy in that, but the way the news is reporting it is that the decision has been made. They're just in the process of taking those, $100+ billion, $200-300 billion in funds that were, or money that's Russian money that was in European banks and that was seized, that they're taking that and they're going to give it to Ukraine. And the news is reporting that the decision's been made to do that, and they're just in the process. I don't know why it takes such a long time for that process, but that's what they're doing. Now, Vladimir Putin has fired back and said that's a major escalation. That's an act of war from NATO, and that they could very strongly retaliate. What's that mean? I don't know. And some domestic stuff. The president it's being rumored that he's going to reduce the classification of marijuana on a federal level, so that it would be classified as just a regular pain-killing medicine, so that it's not quite as regulated. Many states now have passed some type of either medicinal or even recreational use of marijuana, and but it's still very, very much illegal on a federal level. So I've always been kind of back and forth on this. I hate the fact that there's a plant that is criminalized so much. On the other hand, I do not support the just uncontrolled, or not even controlled, because I don't know that it should be. I don't think that marijuana is the end-all be-all thing. It still it causes a lot of social problems. And should we be criminalizing social problems? No. But anyways, I'll move on. Another thing about drugs, the FDA is expected to put a black label on COVID-19 vaccines. Black label is like their top level warning that the medicine is approved for use, but it has some serious side effects. At least that's what they're saying. Over in North Carolina, they're having a very serious major measles outbreak is what's being reported, and they're saying that after Thanksgiving it's escalated considerably. And of course it's being reported that it's caused by people not vaccinating their children anymore for measles. That is one of the more common vaccines that people are no longer getting for their children, is the measles. And the claim is that because of that, measles is coming back. Something that was once thought to be rid of in this country is coming back, and it's all because of you people that don't get the pokey pokes. We'll see how this transpires. My gut feeling is that this is not a pandemic brewing, but that it will be used to, kind of demonize people. See what happens when you don't get your pokey pokes, and maybe this presidency is still favorable to not getting them, but it could be setting us up for the next presidency coming in real hard on everyone. Because there's no guarantee that J.D. Vance or someone like that from the Trump administration will win. The way things are going right now with the Trump administration, losing a lot of independent voters, which is very critical to them winning. So we'll see how that happens. But all in all, war looks like it's on the horizon on at least a couple of different fronts. Debt is just going through the roof. A minimum, the numbers, I'm seeing numbers between 2.3 and 2.9 trillion dollars have been added to U.S. debt so far under the Trump presidency. And you have to remember it was something like $3.9 trillion during his first presidency. And yes, I understand that was a lot of that was COVID, but I mean, he didn't have to do all kinds of bailouts and lockdowns and all that kind of stuff. And he was definitely part of it. You have to remember that we cannot, I'm going to just hold this thing, and again, it's falling, so just, I guess, deal with it or not. Everyone blames Joe Biden for all the COVID era problems, and yeah, he certainly caused a lot of them. But forget that it all started under President Trump, and a lot of those COVID problems with the economy and the vaccine were started under him. You know, Operation Warp Speed and all that kind of stuff. So, still feeling the effects of that. I think we always will. You know, I was talking to a couple of people the other day, you know, when they were pushing the narrative of a new normal. It's a new normal. Well, we're still dealing with that new normal. We haven't gone back to pre-COVID era stuff, and I don't think we ever will. I don't think we ever will. People still are weird about it. You know, you still see people occasionally wearing masks that you never saw before. You know, it's strange. So the world is changing, and they're changing it incrementally. Yeah, the speed has picked up, but they're still changing it incrementally. That's why you can look back and say, wow, so much has changed since 1990 or 1980. And it's not just normal changes of time. It's dramatic changes of policy, losses of liberty, losses of economic value and stuff. You know, that's why a husband and wife, both of them almost anymore, have to work at least 2 jobs just to survive, whereas 40 years ago, one person could work and have a decent middle-class income. It's all for a purpose, folks. Little by little, it's to take your wealth, control you, manipulate you, own you. That's the goal, and don't forget it, no matter who's in office. It's why we have to keep preparing, getting ourselves more and more to a place of self-sufficiency, building community, learning how to take care of ourselves, to produce as much of our own needs as possible. So that's what you need to be working on. Get your houses in order. Prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.